I'm Adam Booth, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so Carl Froch believes that a lot of fans may well have turned on Tyson Fury and wouldn't be surprised to see fans booing Tyson Fury on April the 29th at Wembley Stadium. That's what Carl Froch had to say. The problem with Fury now is that he's maybe turned some pressure on himself as he's turned the fans against him. All the shenanigans and slagging off Usyk in the build-up, I think it was unsavoury. Why are you talking about a man's gappy teeth and calling him ugly? You don't need to make personal insults. I think it's below the belt, and I don't like to see that. I'd be interested to see who's getting cheered and who's getting booed on the night. We know fans can be fickle, fans can be very mean, and Tyson's got a bit carried away with his mouth. Carl Froch's statement, this is from The Express on Carl Froch's YouTube channel. So, I don't know whether or not that the fans will be booing Tyson Fury so much in the stadium because of him calling Oleksandr Usyk an ugly bastard and gappy teeth and whatever else. Because at the end of the day, that's just Tyson. That's what Tyson does. I know people talk about Tyson as an advocate for mental health, and here he is attacking somebody's appearance. But at the same time, Usyk has called him greedy belly. He's called him belly. In other words, he's fat. Now, the greedy part, I think most people can agree with because he has been greedy. And I think that's pretty much where Fury's lost a lot of fans. The fact that he has been so difficult and been such a diva in the build-up in these negotiations that a lot of fans are starting to see Tyson Fury in a different light. His own fans are going, this just ain't right. It shouldn't be this difficult. It shouldn't be. And the fact that he's demanding a 70-30 split or no fight at all, it's disgusting because you don't see that from Anthony Joshua. You don't see that from Usyk. You don't see that from anybody else. But Tyson Fury's doing that. When it was Tyson Fury who cost Oleksandr Usyk a whole heap ton of money to put this fight on in Saudi Arabia because Tyson was being greedy with the amount of money. And I think that's what may turn fans against him because he's been saying how he's a Spartan and he's not a businessman. He don't care about money. He's got more than enough money to last several lifetimes and all that kind of stuff. So some people will naturally gravitate toward that. I'm surprised people even believed him in the first place, but some people did and thought, okay, well, he's one of us. He just wants to put on the best fights. He didn't care about the money. Joshua's the businessman. Fury's not. He's one of us. He's a people's champ. He just wants to put on the best fights. But now it's turned out, and he's showed you, that he lied. And people don't like being lied to. They don't. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to hear a lot of cheers for Oleksandr Usyk at the stadium. But at the same time, Tyson, he does bring, I think for the Dillian White fight, he brought like 20,000 travellers and that. So he's always going to have good vocal or good voice in the crowd. So he's always going to have that. But at the same time, how do the travelling community feel about him? I know some have been a little bit of embarrassed about his behaviour in the build-up and negotiations for this Usyk fight. I know they have, but is it enough to turn them against him? I wouldn't have thought so. But at the end of the day, Fury is an elite athlete. He is, and he, in theory, should beat Usyk, right? In theory, but as Tyson Fury told Joe Rogan a couple of years ago on that podcast where he said that his hardest fight, amateur and pro, was Steve Cunningham because he was a cruiserweight. He was smaller. He was faster. He was like an oil-slicked eel. He couldn't pin him down. He couldn't get hold of him. Well, Usyk is that guy and more, and he's southpaw on top of it. And I know some people say how you just come forward and try and squash Oleksandr Usyk and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think so. I don't think that's necessarily how you beat him. It may be successful. I know some people will look at how Chisora fought Usyk, but I maintain that Usyk was holding back against Eric Chisora. He didn't want to show too much because he knew that he had a Anthony Joshua fight coming up. And many people feel that Usyk let Anthony Joshua off the hook in the final round or two in their first fight and things like that. But that said, styles do make fights. I don't like the saying, but it's true, they do. But as far as the crowd, the reaction, booing Tyson Fury, listen, yeah, Fury's lost a lot of fans. I see it in my comment section. I see it on social media. You can see it on Tyson Fury's posts. A lot of people are just slating him. I was once a fan of yours, but you've been acting a complete diva and things like that. So when you're getting fans on social media, hundreds and thousands of them, clicking the thumbs up and liking and retweeting what Oleksandr Usyk does, and in comparison, not much for Tyson Fury, because they don't agree with the things Tyson Fury's been doing. I think that's why. I don't think calling Usyk gappy teeth or his appearance or anything like that has got anything to do with maybe fans turning against him. I mean, it may be. Maybe, I don't know. But ultimately we find out on fight night. But I think there will be a section of fans at Wembley Stadium, Brits, who will be willing and cheering Oleksandr Usyk on to win. There will be, because he's come across as a real cool guy. Each and every time he fights, he's always been very humble, very respectful, and all that kind of stuff, where Tyson goes overboard with the showbiz, overboard. And the fact that he's been lying to people for the longest time about not needing money, and he's basically been showing he doesn't actually want this fight. And Usyk is the one who's called his bluff and backed Tyson Fury into a corner where Tyson Fury cannot get out of it, to the point where now he's saying no rematch clause, in the hope that maybe Usyk pulls out the fight. Because obviously Usyk will look at this fight to say, well, okay, 70-30, I'm going to get a great deal of money of what I should be getting, but I'll get him back in the rematch. I'll beat him on the A side for the rematch. Now Fury's taken that away from him as well, even though he's already got home field advantage. He's got the WBC officials around him. It's a home promoter shows, as in Bob Arum, Top Rank, and Frank Warren Queensbury. What more advantages do you need? Not only that, you're pickpocketing him, because you know full well Usyk wants this fight. It's more important to him than money. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see on fight night. Does it really matter? Maybe Tyson Fury will love the fact people booing him. Who knows? Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.